Are you poisoning the well? In one of my favorite movies called Sahara, a scientist is looking for a old ironclad Civil War era gunship. Now, while looking for this ship, he ends up looking for it in the Sahara Desert, where there is a large solar plant. Now, as the movie progresses, our main hero, our scientist, discovers that there is a lot of toxic waste being sealed underneath the solar plant. This toxic waste is then seeping down into the underground rivers of the Sahara Desert, which in turn ends up poisoning the wells of the neighboring communities, and it actually ends up close to infecting the entire world. Um, they find this because they happen upon a community where a well is their main source of water, and all the people in that city are dead, and same with the animals because they were poisoned by their main source of water. I'd like to connect this. I have learned recently that nanotechnology, even though there is so much unknown about it, is already in products that we use. Using simple products like sunscreen, or if you have like waterproof shoes, or a waterproof shirt, these materials are products that you could be using that could contain nanotechnology. So today I'd like to inform you about the dangers of nanotechnology in products you use and the unknowns, and a lot of the unknowns about that danger. So a little bit of what I'll go over is the history of nanotechnology, the poisoning it is doing on our society, and the reason we are trying to pursue nanotechnology, some of its many benefits, and then ultimately how we're just diving into the unknown with this nanotechnology. In background, nanotechnology is credited to Richard Feynman, who spoke at a Caltech conference in December of 1959. He is accredited for really starting nanotechnology and its interests, and since then a lot of companies have decided to pursue nanotechnology. So many of us are using products because of this, these companies decided to pursue over the years. And many people are starting to become affected by nanotechnology, but we don't know exactly how or what that effect is on us, or at least the full effect of what it is on us. We are using these nanomaterials without really knowing the consequences they have, and that is both dangerous and scary. So this conflict is ongoing because without really knowing the full effect they are having, we can't come up with a solution. I agree with a Grigory Scrinis, who said that it is not possible to predict the full effect nanotechnology has on our society. The reason being is there is just one simple illness that we do know about called ageria, which comes from the ingesting of too much soluble silver, like silver that can get into your bloodstream. Now, nanomaterials is technology on a very small level that is on products like our shirts, waterproof shirts, and so simply rubbing it can get those products off onto our hands. Maybe if I don't wash my hands, there was a silver material and I go to eat, like my fingers because maybe the chicken's really good, then I'm ingesting these particles and poisoning myself. But despite the unknown of nanotechnology, its benefits are also very incalculable. If you do a simple Google search for nanotechnology, you'll find simple questions related to projects that are out there of can nanotechnology cure cancer, and also can nanotechnology make us immortal? While these effects are obviously far into the future, nanotechnology's potential is immense and really great possibilities it can bring, but we are using it without really knowing the consequences. So, and despite all of this unknown, despite all this potential, we don't know the consequences, and we are already reaping those consequences while yet achieving the benefit. So a large portion of the negative effects is left to our imagination because of this. And leaving it to our imagination, we can imagine all sorts of scary scenarios where nanotechnology could cause a very dire effect. So my question for you is, can we be reaping the benefits having things like waterproof shoes or sunscreens that protect our bodies, which also include nanomaterials, while we don't yet know the consequences? And are we okay with that? Could our overuse of these products containing such small particles that could be doing us harm, could it be poisoning ourselves with things like cancer, which are the very things we're trying to avoid, or very things we're trying to cure with nanotechnology? And so, in review, we've gone over the history of nanotechnology, how it can be poisoning our society, and the benefits it could have, while ultimately the unknown that nanotechnology brings. So in conclusion, we just want to make sure that that we know what we are using before we put things in the well that could potentially do us harm.